Hello, hello. 1.2, adding integers. This can sometimes be confusing, adding negative and a positive, positive and negative, two negatives together. Here are a couple of rules that you can kind of live by to help you and hopefully not have any issues with this year, because this is something you're going to continually see. Adding with the same sign. Add the absolute value of the numbers and then use the common sign. What that is saying is if we use a negative 4 and the absolute value of negative 4 would be just positive 4, the absolute value of a negative 3 would be 3. You add those together and you get a 7, but you got to use the common sign here. Since we added a negative, it would be a negative 7. So that is a trick that you can use. That one's not so hard as the next one here. When you add opposite signs, it says subtract the lesser absolute value from the greater absolute value and use the sign from the greater one. What does that mean? Okay, absolute value of negative 10 is 10, absolute value of 4 is 4. So I'm going to subtract 10 minus 4, and I'm going to get a 6. Now it says use the sign from the greater one. Well, the greater one was the negative 10, so my answer would be a negative 6. Another example, I have 6 and a negative 12, and I'm going to add the two. Well, it says subtract their absolute values, so absolute value of negative 12 is 12. 12 minus 6 would be 6. But I'm going to use the absolute value of the greater one, which is a negative, so it's a negative 6. You don't have to do it this way. You can also look at number lines and add them this way, but this is just a general rule that you can go by, and we'll see if that helps. We can look more at number lines tomorrow in class, but this is just kind of a good start of a way that you can do this. The additive inverse is something you're going to come across in your homework. You're going to see this in the book. It says the sum of an integer and its opposite is 0. First of all, we should talk about what the word opposite is. If you look at these examples, negative 4 and 4 are opposites. Negative 12 and 12 are opposites. Negative 100 and positive 100 are opposites. Well, all the additive inverse is basically a word that you can kind of describe as an opposite. It's basically when you add these two kinds of things together, the inverse of something, you're going to get the answer of a 0. Negative 12, positive 12, you get a 0. So if I add negative 100 plus 100, I'm going to get back to 0. That's all the additive inverse is. Not a very difficult concept. All right, find negative 2 plus a negative 4. Use the number line to check your answer. Again, I said we'd look at the number line more tomorrow, but let's just kind of look at how we would do this. If you remember, we have the same signs, so we're going to add together absolute values. 2 and 4 are their absolute values, so I'm going to add those together. I'm going to get 6. I'm going to go back and look at a negative and a negative, so I have a negative 6. It says use a number line to check your answer. Well, if this is 0 and here is a negative 2, I'm going to add a negative 4. So I'm going to add negative 4 more of these to move this direction, and that's what is going to get me to a negative 6. So that does make sense with the number line. Again, the number line can help you. Some people don't like it, but it is an option. Here are 3 practice problems I'd like you to try for tomorrow. Remember the rules from the first slide that I showed you. They're all if you look here, they're all different signs. All different signs from each other, a positive and a negative and a positive, a negative and a positive. So what I'd like you to do is add these together using the idea of finding the absolute values and then using the sign from the bigger of the two numbers. Good luck. We'll look at these tomorrow. Bye-bye.